Well, howdy. This is Pastor Brian with Hillside Baptist Church and another Midweek Devotional. I'm glad you've been tuning into these things. Like, subscribe, share, all the rest. You know what to do. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever read The Three Musketeers or seen a video version of it, a movie version of it, or maybe the Disney cartoon with Mickey Mouse running around? What was the most famous line of that whole thing? All for one and one for all. Well, of course, that was the most famous line. There's something about that sense of brotherhood that transcends times and cultures and situations. Everybody wants to be a part of something like that. But if you're a Christian, I've got good news for you. You're already a part of something like that. On the night when Jesus celebrated the Passover with his disciples in the upper room, one of the things he said to them was this: "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." That's from John 13:34 and 35. Now, on the one hand, this is not a new command at all. God has always wanted us to love him and to show love to others as a reflection of that love. But on the other hand, Jesus said it's a new command, and so there's something new about it. I can think of two ways that this is new. One is obligation. Okay, think about it this way. When I was dating a much younger Sarah, then I wanted to do things to make her happy, right? And so I would call her or spend time with her or take her to dinner or bring her flowers. Of course, that's what you do if you're trying to woo a young lady. You have to treat her in a way that demonstrates that you value her, right? And then we got married. And now I still do things to make her happy. Uh, but now I'm also obligated to do so because of the vows that I took in order to identify with her, to love her in sickness and in health, to love her in richer or poorer circumstances, to love her in better or worse circumstances. Now, of course, I loved her before we got married. That's why we got married. But now the commitment of love is so much deeper and stronger because of my identification with her in marriage. Now, loving my wife is a part of how I daily live my life, right? And so there's that aspect, right? It's even more and stronger through identification. Now, the other way that this is sort of a new command is, well, the example of Jesus. On that very night, Jesus washed the disciples' feet. That very night, he was betrayed. That very night, he forgave his friends. That very night, his passion began, culminating in his death on the cross for our sins. And he said, "Just as I have loved you, you love one another." Giving, sacrificing, serving, long suffering, forgiving, loving one another. Christians will love people to the extent that they understand the love of God for them, the way they understand that God has been loving us or has shown love to us in Jesus. And if we understand how much God has shown us love in Jesus Christ, well, then we really won't have much trouble with this command. Nevertheless, this is the way that we do prove our identity with him, by the way that we love one another. It's not that Christians love the world any less, it's just that we love other Christians even more. And I know that that doesn't really make logical sense, and nonetheless, it is true, and it is the reality of the situation. And so this week, think about the love of Christ for you, and then think about how you can express love to others. because that's the way that the people who identify with Jesus live their lives. We love one another the same way that he loved us. Pastor Brian, signing off, reminding you to care for one another and share the love, not the germs. God bless you.